Welcome to the listening section of the TOEFL mock test, brought to you by Spinta. This section measures your ability to understand conversations and lectures in English. In this section, you will listen to several conversations and academic lectures. Each conversation and lecture is followed by a number of questions. You will hear each conversation or lecture only one time. You may take notes while you listen. You may use your notes to help you answer the questions. Some of the questions will replay part of the audio for you. Answer the questions based on what is stated or implied by the speakers. You must answer each question before moving on. You cannot return to previous questions in this section.
Good morning. Today I want to talk about ecosystem-based approaches to climate mitigation and adaptation, and why they matter for both policy and practice. When I say ecosystem-based approaches, I mean interventions that use natural systems or working landscapes to reduce greenhouse gases and to reduce climate risks for people and infrastructure. Examples include restoring mangroves along coastlines to reduce storm surge, re-wetting peatlands to prevent carbon loss, and designing urban green infrastructure like green roofs and street trees to moderate temperatures and manage runoff. One compelling reason to consider these approaches is carbon sequestration. Different ecosystems store carbon in different ways and at different rates. Peatlands, for instance, store a huge amount of carbon per unit area because organic matter accumulates in waterlogged, low oxygen conditions. By contrast, forests store large carbon pools above and below ground, but they can be vulnerable to fire and drought, which may release that carbon back to the atmosphere. So when planning mitigation projects, it matters whether you prioritize per unit area storage, permanence of that storage, or co-benefits for local communities. Let me give you a case study. In the Sundarbans region between Bangladesh and India, communities have invested in mangrove restoration. Those mangroves reduce wave energy during cyclones, and also act as nurseries for fisheries. This brings me to co-benefits. Ecosystem-based approaches often provide co-benefits such as biodiversity protection, local livelihoods, and carbon sequestration. Because of these co-benefits, projects can attract funding from multiple sources, for example climate finance, biodiversity funds, and development aid. That makes them attractive to policymakers. However, there are trade-offs and limitations. Restoring a wetland may sequester carbon, but it can also limit agricultural expansion. In some cases, local communities may lose access to resources they previously used. Another constraint is measurement. Monitoring carbon fluxes in ecosystems requires both remote sensing and ground-based sampling. That monitoring can be expensive and technically demanding, especially in low-income regions. Governance matters too. Projects that lack local participation often fail because they do not address the needs of the people who live in those landscapes. A practical example in urban contexts is green roofs. In Toronto and other cities, green roofs reduce roof surface temperatures, lower building energy use, and reduce stormwater runoff during heavy rains. But urban projects need building codes, incentives, and maintenance plans to be sustainable. Without those, the ecological benefits erode over time. There is also a scale issue. Small local projects have clear local benefits, but limited global climate impact. Large-scale restoration can affect global carbon budgets, but requires significant coordination and long-term financing. To conclude, ecosystem-based approaches are not a single solution. They offer a portfolio of options that combine mitigation and adaptation, with important co-benefits for biodiversity and livelihoods. Effective deployment requires careful assessment of carbon storage characteristics, attention to social trade-offs, robust monitoring, and inclusive governance. When we evaluate such projects, we should ask 3 questions. First, what is the likely carbon outcome over several decades? Second, who benefits and who might be harmed? Third, what institutional arrangements will ensure permanence and maintenance? If we keep those questions in mind, ecosystem-based approaches can play a significant role in integrated climate strategies.
Listen again to part of the lecture, then answer the question.
Ecosystem-based approaches often provide co-benefits such as biodiversity protection, local livelihoods, and carbon sequestration.
For more TOEFL mock tests, as well as IELTS and Cambridge practice, visit www.spinta.org. We provide updated tests every single day, AI feedback for your speaking and writing responses, and access to a wide range of high-quality mock tests to help you prepare with confidence.